Power chords are used in all genres of music, from heavy rock and roll to soft acoustic music. It just depends on how the artist is going to be using it. It's a great chord to start off with as a beginner, for the fact being that you're only using 2 to 3 fingers at a time, and this is a molding that is used on the 6th string and the 5th string with the first finger, and then you just build your chord around it. Just depends. Like I said, it depends on the artist, how they're going to use it. They can use 2 fingers, they can use 3. It just depends on how they want to use it. So let's go ahead and get started and learn about power chords today. When looking at power chords on paper, you're going to notice that it says C5, D5, or E5. Notice that the front part has a letter name, C, D, or E, and the back part has a 5. The 5 is going to represent that you're going to play a power chord. The front note, or the front letter, is going to represent where you're going to be putting your finger. In other words, if it's a C5 on the 6th string, well, that means you're going to go to the 8th fret, and you'll know by the tablature it's going to be drawn vertically in numbers, and it's going to say the 6th string is on the 8th fret, meaning you put your first finger here, and the 5, okay, well, if it says C5, that means you're going to build a power chord, which we're going to go into the molding in a moment, but you'll put your fingers like this, and that'll tell you that this is a C note, and you're building a power chord, and it'll be played like this on the 6th string. And technically it's 6, 5, and 4 strings. But there's another way to play it in this tuning, which is the C5 can be played on the 5th string, 3rd fret, and you're going to make your mold like this, and once again you'll get that from the tab, and then you'll play it like that. Let's say if it said D5, well, in that case, once again, you'll look at your tablature, it'll be written vertically in the column, and if it's on the 5th string, well, here's your D note, and then you'll build your power chord. Or in this case, if it's on the 6th string, here's your D note, and you'll build your power chord. It just depends on what the paper's saying and what note it is. So you got to really pay attention to what song it is and the tablature for it. As said before, using power chords for a beginner is very easy because it's a shape or a molding. I look at it as a molding because you're using a certain amount of fingers and it's molded and you're moving it to play chords. That's actually the essential of what chords are with guitar. It's moldings on the fretboard, and that's going to show you where to play and how to play and make sure it just sounds good. Like this is a molding, that's a molding, and you just have to learn these moldings and get them down. For power chords, it's very simple. What you're going to do is we're going to learn the first finger as your root note. The root note can happen in this tuning, which is standard E tuning is what I'm teaching it in. On the 6th string is your root note, or the 5th string, meaning you're going to base this note as your foundation and build off it. Everybody go ahead and put your first finger, fret 5, 6th string. Did you do it? Get your guitar. Do it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go up 2 frets. 1, 2 from that first finger, and 1 string up, which is your 5th string. You should be on fret 7. You're going to put your 3rd finger there. And we're going to talk about this optional finger that you can put under that one on the next string in a little bit. But for now, just these 2 fingers. So now what you're going to do is, this is a molding. Go ahead and pluck that. Or single pick it, so you can work on your plucking. So, or not plucking, but your clearance, making sure it sounds clean. So now once you have that, notice this is with odd frets together, fret 5 and fret 7, or you can play with even. Go ahead and move that first finger, your bass note, your root note, up 3 frets. 1, 2, 3. You're going to be on your 8th fret. Now this is going to be even with even. If this is 8th fret, you're going to go up 2 frets. 1, 2. 1 string up, 5th string, 3rd finger. Even frets. 8 with 10 or even with even. This is a closed power chord because it's movable. Watch. As long as you keep these 2 fingers in that molding of odd with odd frets or even with even frets, you can put it anywhere on this fretboard until you get to here, which is 0 fret, which is your first finger falls off the fretboard. Once again, let's start off with the 3rd fret. Watch this. 3rd fret, first finger, go up 2, 1, 2, 1 string up. And now what you're going to do is you're going to play them one by one to fall off the fretboards. 3rd fret, 2nd fret, 1st fret, 0 fret with the first finger, 3rd finger should be on the 2nd fret. This one is non-movable. So we got movable chord, and then we got non-movable, or open power chord in other words. So why is it non-movable? Because you can't make a power chord until you put this first finger down and move this finger over. So if I move this to the first fret, I have to put that first finger down. But if I were to just go around doing this, it's not a power chord anymore. You're actually changing the way the chord sounds and the notes that are going to be used for a power chord. So once you go off the second fret with that third finger, or once again the optional finger if you have that pinky, we'll talk about it in a minute, then this won't be a power chord anymore. So once again, open power chord is a non-movable power chord. You only can play it on this area right here. And that goes for the fifth string as well, which we'll get into in a minute. And then the other one is a closed power chord or movable, when you add that first finger down to the fret and you have odd with odd or even with even. We're going to consider 0 and 2 an even fret, and the odd fret starts on fret 1 with fret 3, then even frets. Once again, so root note, let's go to fret 8, make your power chord. Now fret 3, power chord. And now let's go ahead and do this on the same thing with the fifth string. Fifth string, first finger, fifth fret. Go ahead and put your first finger there, build your chord. 1 fret, 2 fret up, 1 string up. Now you're on the fourth string with that third finger. The optional pinky will be below that one on the third string. Excuse me. And then once again, you're just going to strum it. So now, if anything, now first finger, put the root note on the third fret, fifth string. 2 frets up, 1, 2, 1 string up, which is your fourth string. And then now you can even switch between them. Here's the fifth string. Here's the sixth string. Realize when I go with my first finger up 1 string, this finger goes up 1 string as well. And that's how you use movable shapes for power chords. Okay, in this specific tuning, and we'll get into tuning in the next part, but for this part, the tuning matters because now we can add this third finger in there. Before you had the molding, let's go and start with the 8th fret, first finger. 1, 2 frets up, 1 string up, and then 1 more string up above that one is where you're going to add your pinky. So now when you single pluck it, you're going to be plucking 6, 5, and 4 strings. And you're on fret 8 and fret 10 with these 2 fingers now. Let's go to fret 3 with the first finger, that's your root note. Build your power chord, add that pinky under the third finger. Pluck it. Now let's go ahead and chord it, or strum it. Now let's go ahead and do that with the 5th string as well. What you're going to do is you're going to start off on your 8th fret again. 6th string. Now go ahead and move it up 1 string with the first finger to string 5. Now 1 fret, 2 fret up, 1 string up is your third finger. Another string up above that, which is your third string, is your fourth finger. Single pluck it real quick, 5, 4, and 3 strings. Strum it. Now do that with the 3rd fret as well. First finger, third finger, fourth finger. The reason why you want to single pluck it is because you're going to be building on your accuracy, I guess, if you will. Making sure it sounds clean. Then you can work on work on chording it or strumming it. And that's why you're going to be adding that pinky in there, because sometimes with artists, they add that extra flavor. Here's how it sounds without the pinky, with the pinky, without, with. It adds a little bit more of a brighter tone. It's really punchy. Can you hear the differences? I hope so, because if you can't, check your ears, man. You might need to clean them out. As for tuning, everything I've been talking about is going to be in standard E tuning, meaning that's E, A, D, G, B, and E strings. Once you change the E string or any of these strings right here, for sure, the 6, 5, and 4, you're changing the tuning for power chords. This is power chords in this tuning. Remember this shape? Now, when I change this tuning, by dropping the E to a D, I'm changing the way this chord is going to be played, or the mold for drop E tuning, or I'm sorry, for drop D tuning. Now it becomes, instead of 3 fingers, it becomes 1. And that's going to be how you play power chords. So an open power chord is going to be just open, literally no fingers on it. And with the closed power chord, is one finger, and it's movable now. And that's going to be the difference right there. Depending on the tuning, is going to make it easier. In this case, for drop D tuning, it makes it a whole lot faster to play songs compared to standard tuning where you're using 3 fingers. Now there's differences in styles is where it really makes sense of what tuning you're going to use. If you're a thrash player or a hardcore player or a heavy metal player, is how you're going to be using your tunings. I mean, any band from Slipknot to Blink-182 to anything in acoustic, they all can have different methods of how they're going to be using the chords or the sounds or the tones or even tuning. So keep that in mind when you're learning a song, that it's not all going to be one shape in one tuning. Sometimes the tuning changes and you can make it easier. In this case, drop D is used 1 finger or open like that, and standard E is going to be using 3 fingers or 2 fingers depending on the artist. And that is it for this lesson. Remember, with power chords, it depends on the artist, depends on the tuning, it depends if they're going to have 3 fingers or 2 fingers. The root note is going to matter, what strings you're playing on. If it's an open power chord, meaning if it's with over here, open with the first finger, or if it's a closed power chord, meaning it's over here with the odd and even frets. All that matters with power chords. And once you get the gist of it, it's not really hard. Remember, this is made for beginners. I'm just breaking it down, and breaking it down so where it's as easy as possible to learn, to build it back up to a full chord. If you like this lesson, go ahead and share with friends, or if you're one of my guitar students now, I will be recommending you watch this and giving it to you for homework. So go ahead and like this video, not like this video, comment on the video, and let me know what you think. And if you have anything, if you want to learn about slides or hammer-ons or whatever, let me know. Shoot me a text, shoot me an email, and I will get back to you and make a video. Thanks a lot.